Hey there guys, Rotom walking in. So I realize it's been a while since the last video. I just haven't found a great topic to make a video on. I've been trying to make some new teams, but honestly I haven't liked the results so far and they still need a little bit of work. I'll hopefully have them done in just a day or two, but until then, what I have hasn't been so great. I've been recording some battles, but I've been playing really poorly, and the new teams aren't helping, certainly, but I don't know, I just haven't been on my game like I haven't for a while. Some cool things have happened on the channel, though. I can say that for the first time ever, after 1,300 freaking hours of playing this game, I found my first shiny Poochyena. So, pretty excited for that. Took long enough, dang it. So, thanks so much for all the new subscribers. Let's see, we've really gained a lot. I'll be trying to make some good videos in the future. My friend and I are working on finishing up a rain team for him. He's building his first competitive team, so we'll see how that goes. And I'll have one centered around Garchomp Volcarona offense. Should be just a couple days. For today, there was one battle where I thought some interesting things happened. I thought we'd look at that one and examine how to play around Pokemon that you really have no answers to. So, hopping into team preview here, we see that this is some sort of sun team focusing on sun-boosted Chandelure on top of Chlorophyll, Sawsbuck. So, my team has a pretty good matchup into this. Most of his attackers are weak enough to be easily walled by Skarmory. So the one thing, though, that I can't answer is this Rotom-Wash. I have to find a way to chip down Rotom-Wash so that Garchomp can be an offensive threat. After it's taken a decent amount, I can maybe hit it with Starmie. Magnezone is my best answer against Rotom-Wash, which is why I lead it. And I want to go ahead and pause the game here to really talk about this first turn, because it's what blows the game wide open. Okay, so as I predicted, he leads Rotom-Wash because it matches up very well against my team, and I led my only Pokemon that doesn't immediately start conceding turns against Rotom-Wash, being my Specs Magnezone. So he has reason to believe that I'm choiced. And with this information in mind, we are now going to go take sort of a cost-benefit analysis of determining why I clicked the next move that I did. So my relevant options here are to switch out, expecting maybe a Hydro Pump to come in, to switch to Vaporeon, because Vaporeon won't take that much damage from either of his attacks. Worst case scenario, I can then run a calc on how much damage I take, and determine whether or not he's Specs, or maybe if he's just a standard bulky set. The other option is if I stay in, I could click my own Volt Switch, hoping that he stays in and goes for an attacking type move, allowing me to chip his incredibly important Rotom, so that's unlikely, but something I could try to play around. Or, and this last one here is a bit risky, but by far the highest reward, is just to go straight for a Flash Cannon, expecting him to throw in Mamoswine. So, the reason the last one is risky is because, at best, I can take maybe 2, potentially 3, depending on the spread, Hydro Pumps from this Rotom-Wash. If he gets one off here, as I just uselessly Flash Cannon him, because Flash Cannon will do absolutely negligible damage to this thing, my ability to keep using Magnezone as my pseudo-Rotom counter for this game is severely going to be diminished. I can no longer switch in on it effectively, and I really get on the back foot there. However, as long as he has this ground type and this Rotom-Wash here, my only move that threatens it is an electric type attack, and if I ever call that play wrong and he brings in Mamoswine, I have to potentially even let Skarmory die, as it can go for multiple Icicle Crashes and potentially even flinch Skarmory and knock it out there, which means I have a team with very little chance for counterplaying against Mamoswine. So when I look at this play, going for Flash Cannon hurts, but the way I see it, he can't leave his Rotom in, and he can't give him the option to get damage on it. Because me damaging Rotom absolutely blows his team open. So the way I look at this, lead Pokemon with Volt Switch and U-Turn are incredibly likely to click those moves. Because he moves before me, he gets his Volt Switch off and sees that I stay in, which I think to him absolutely just screams that I go for Volt Switch. Because why else would I stay in and take chip damage on my oh-so-important Magnezone in this matchup? Because of that, I'm fairly sure that the most likely move for him is to go to Mamoswine trying to catch me, and trying to basically set up a situation where I'm choice-locked into a move. Then he could use Mamoswine to set up his own Stealth Rocks, and we have to play a game where I'm not trying to dance around Stealth Rocks, trying to dance around a Pokemon that can completely blink my Magnezone, and a Rotom-Wash so I don't have much hope of checking. So this is why I think that the best play for me here is to go for Flash Cannon turn 1, expecting Magnezone, because in every other situation, I enter a losing spiral where I really have no way to check Rotom-Wash. The match is in no way easy if I get this play right and kill Mamoswine, but at the very least, it makes it playable. Alright, so now that all of that over, so with all of that in mind, I decided to go for Flash Cannon here because I think catching Magnuson on the switch wins the game, or at the very least, basically cripples this team right here. He goes for Flash Cannon, and lo and behold, here comes the Mamoswine. Bada boom. With this thing down, sure, I'm choice locked into Magnezone, but now my Volt Switches are free for the rest of the game. Nothing on his team wants to take a Volt Switch. Even his resisted Pokemon in Sawsbuck takes a massive amount from it. So he goes to Torkoal here. I make the play of going to Starmie, because I'm figuring he probably goes for Rocks, and then I have Starmie up to threaten to spin them away. Doesn't quite go that way, as we'll see in a second. I throw in Starmie, and immediately get crit by Lava Plume, knocking me down under 50. But it's fine, I've got leftovers, and I'm still thinking that he either goes for Stealth Rocks, because he won't die to a Surf in the sun, and either tries to set up Rocks, or tries to go back to his Rotom-Wash. So I'm looking at this and thinking, Thunderbolt at least lets me chip down a little bit of health on Rotom-Wash. It lets me maybe chip this Torkoal. And I really think those are the only options he'd throw out here, as a lot of his team isn't too good against Starmie. So I make the Thunderbolt play, and lo and behold, it is Solar Beam Torkoal, which, yes, exists, but the vast majority of Torkoal run like mono fire attack as their only offensive move, unlike Rapid Spin, Stealth Rock, Yawn, or Toxic. So I really didn't even consider that as an option, something I'll know more about in the future. So that, of course, gives me a free switch into Magnezone, and as I said before, my Volt Switch is now free for the rest of the match. So I go ahead and throw it on Garchomp. So Garchomp is here to invite in Rotom-Wash, because I feel like that's really his best answer here. And instead, I meet up with Sawsbuck. Sawsbuck is faster than me in the sun, but does absolutely nothing to Skarmory, so I throw in Skarmory, and take very little to nothing. Sawsbuck is an interesting sweeper. This is why I think Sun isn't as competitive as Rain or Sand, because your sweepers are just really bad. Executor is probably the best, because it at least has a usable special attack stat, but Sawsbuck gets completely walled by Skarmory. He can go into Chandelure, but this is just free time for spikes for me. Chandelure is quite simply answered by Vaporeon. Even if he were to go for Energy Ball right at the beginning, I would take very little. Sunlight beats down, Sun Boosted Flamethrower, nothing to me. I decide to look at how things are going and get off a Wish, because this means that if he goes back to Sawsbuck, I can just throw in my Skarmory, take any hit he throws out, and be back up to full HP. This is a dance I can keep doing all day, because I have Spike, so eventually Sawsbuck will wear itself down. Horn Leech is going to heal basically 2 HP, and Life Orb means he'll beat himself down even faster. So now I'm looking at this, and, nothing really to stop me from going for another layer of spikes. Brave Bird isn't necessary, because I don't need damage on Sawsbuck. Sawsbuck is never going to threaten me. I guess I do eventually decide to get a little bit of damage, and it goes on to Dragonite. Spikes aren't great in this game. Most all of his team is levitating. I really wish I had Stealth Rock. That's one of the problems with this team, is that there is no rocks on it. I assume Dragonite's going to try to boost up on me, so we just whirlwind that thing out of here. A boosted Fire Punch does a lot, although it doesn't kill me. It's just not something I want to deal with yet on my Skarmory. I look at this guy, and, I hit him in the past, or I threatened to hit him with Brave Bird in the past, but I figure, why not just get rid of this thing? Skarmory isn't too important, as I'm really trying to look towards Magnezone Garchomp to close the game out at this point. He brings back in Rotom, and here I'm thinking, you know what? We'll just go to Vaporeon, and worst case scenario, Volt Switch, he gets some momentum, but probably doesn't one-shot me. And I can find out for sure if he's choiced or something. So, Hydro Pump, and so here's the turn where I will find out for sure if he's Specs or if he has the ability to switch. Cool, we found out he's not choiced, and importantly, I land Toxic on him. At this point, the game is over, because Rotom can not stall out any of my walls anymore. Under Toxic, Vaporeon can just Wish Protect all day against this thing. Throw out the Wish, throw out the Protect. Yeah, even super effective electric type attacks do very little to Vaporeon. It's super nice. I still think Blissey is kind of just better. I had to try it out for myself, but I'm now firmly on Team Blissey, even though I love Vaporeon's special attack stat, access to Scald, but, Blissey is better if you're just looking for one Pokemon to wall all special attackers. Still gets access to Toxic, too. But that's where that puts us. So now I'm looking at this, and I'm trying to figure out, how to advance the game from here. I can Wish Protect all day. And, he's under Toxic, so I really have no reason to break up this chain, because at any point in time, if he switches, I go up to full HP. There's the threat of the physical Dragonite in the back, so I really want to keep my Vaporeon at as close to full HP as possible, so that it can come in and beat Chandelure and Rotom one-on-one, and maybe, in a pinch, working in Dragonite. So I'm looking at this here, and I think I can't throw my Megazone away to Earthquake. I'm going to go to Skarmory, and he went for Dragon Dance. So Volt Switch would have been great there. That would have been the end of the game. But I really think throwing that guy away would not have been a good idea at all. I think I'm going to take some damage, but I just want to get him chipped down so he's not there with potentially 2 Dragon Dances. That would be the end of my team. So as long as we can keep Dragonite and 1 Dragon Dance, we're good. We get Vaporeon in here, and as always, get the special defense drop. I was going to wall this thing just fine. Protect, into Wish, into Protect, and I'd be back up at full HP. But now with the special defense drop, I have to throw in Magnezone here. I'm fairly certain that he's choiced, though, so that's not a problem. Now we're in the situation where, of course, the special defense drop again. I'm going to Volt Switch. If he stays in, cool. That's the end of this guy. And I have to go find some way to not let Dragonite sweep me while I'm able to basically stall down this Rotom. So I didn't have a great matchup against Rotom, but I just had to kill the team around Rotom so that I could eventually find a way to wear it down. Still, I'm looking at my Garchomp and I'm thinking, hey, if I use Substitute, I can block the Will-O-Wisp, or worst case scenario, he goes for Hydro Pump, and I can use my continual spamming of Substitutes to wait for him to miss those as he's Toxic the whole time, and Garchomp then just beats his team down. So that's the end of that. It was a team where I matched up really poorly against Rotom-Wash and had to just try to figure out how to play around it. I don't love how things went that game, but it was at least a decent battle, and I hope the analysis wasn't too boring. Okay, that's it for now.